Pastor, yesterday there was an argument in the papers about some announcement we heard the day before about Nigeria hiring mercenaries to come and help us in this war. Um, Even the government has denied it, said that there were mercenaries and they had gone when the government that went out, which had hired them, left. So, should we now plan to hire mercenaries? Um, how impactful would this be on this war?
Well, if we're going to look factually, the issue of mercenaries came up towards the tail end, and it was more politically motivated at that time than anything else. There was a surge towards the tail end of the last dispensation, political dispensation. Now we must be quick not to lay the blame on the last dispensation. This terrorism thing has been in the cooker for years. And we must remember, number two, that it is a global problem and a national problem, not a Northeast problem. And if we had had that mindset from the beginning, right in the days in the Obasanjo regime, we could have done a lot of things in his dispensation. We could have done a lot of things to curtail and slow down what is going on right now. So the question really to ask is this, because mercenary, no mercenary, I was in America before 9/11. We had a meeting in America, one of these meetings on terrorism, where we mentioned that America was going to be a target prior to 9/11, a few weeks before it. And they were talking from the perspective that no, the problem is in other nations, it cannot come here. A few days after, when it hit America, you saw the swift response. Now, number one, I said to you, the strength of this whole terror thing is fear, the fear of death. You don't terrorize a person unless you know how to make him afraid. So one of the first objectives that you have is to ensure that fear must be minimized. You need to inject the populace with courage. You need to help, that's why I said we need a narrative. As I'm speaking right now, a study should have been done on the effects of fear at different levels, subsections, regional levels, all over the country, and how to handle that. I'm talking about the fear now, because terrorism will tell you that the spread of fear and the way it is reported, the way they use the media for it, is as effective. I mean, killing one or two people is bad enough, but the way you use it to spread fear among millions is actually the strength of terrorism. Now, in Nigeria, until we discover this, there's nothing new about this problem. I was going to show you this. This is something called a reference from the colonial days, 1952. The French intelligence had sent to the British intelligence in Nigeria to watch out for what we're describing here. These are documents that are available to the public today in different countries of the world. So if anything, Nigeria should put its best minds to work to sit down to collate all this. It's called the Mangin report from the French intelligence system. If we sit down and collate all these things and put it together, you will see that we should have expected this a long time ago. Now, the strength of what is going on in Nigeria is this. A few centuries ago, this same problem came up, and its strength is the mask of religion that it wears. When this thing started, and in 2000 we began to tell them that it's going to wipe out Christianity in northern Nigeria, it's going to do this, some shouted, oh, it's a conspiracy against the church. By 2004, 2005, we started correcting them, no, it's also a conspiracy against Muslims. This thing is not religious, it's demonic, satanic. And its strength is that in Nigeria, we allow its religious cloak to continue to operate. So sympathies can be aroused easily. We must declare a narrative that splits clearly what is religious and what is outright satanic, dastardly killings. Now, interestingly, research has already done all that. The solution to all these things are present within our borders. But like you pointed out, analyzing the Nigerian public, the average Nigerian, and analyzing our fire brigade approach to all things, I'm not sure that we will be on time, be able to put together all the resources we have within this country, which is capable not only of stopping this thing and showing a solution here, it will be used all over the rest of Africa And many nations of the world are waiting to come and borrow from it. So let us be careful about this mercenary people from outside. They all have their problems. All over the world, everybody is watching out for themselves. And now let me give you one idea that you may not have even thought about. There are people in nations of the world who sit down and calculate that if we can make Nigeria a war zone, it will attract all terrorists from all over the world. If all terrorists from all over the world move to Nigeria, one, we have time to monitor all of them. We'll have time to register them, to study them, and a number of them will be eliminated in Nigeria. And by the time they are through with Nigeria, there will be a contingency plan. There will be a plan ready to now handle them. You are dealing with minds across the world whose brilliance will shock you. And the minds behind global terrorism, don't think that the things you are seeing are ordered necessarily from within. How much security materials, like you said in Okiro's time, how many people did they catch smuggling out information from Nigeria that was headed out for the Middle East for study before instructions are passed back? So if we have the right mindset, look, if you tell the man he has a headache, there's a way we handle it. If he goes and hears that he has a diagnosis for a life-threatening disease, there's a way he responds. Until I see the right response in Nigeria, nobody should cry Uhuru. Until we prepare everybody with the right mindset.
Especially you.
Oh, the media. If you study the modus operandi, by now everybody knows that modern terrorism was perfected in the minds of two engineers. Two very rich young boys, and Osama bin Laden. They were the last engineers to tinker and to perfect it into a global franchise. So when it comes to the movement of money, there is a portion that works in banking and finance, because you have to launder the money to make it work. Media, their media budget is probably much more than that of the whole presidency. They are working with media. I'm telling you that if you train experts, you will see that there are some things you read in Nigerian newspapers. You ask them to go and find who wrote that article. It's so cleverly written that you don't know is molding your opinion to sympathize with terrorism without you realizing it's been done. There are some catchphrases, there are some things that they will avoid saying.
Yes.
Subliminal, thank you.
Exactly, subliminal.
So what we're dealing with here is not only satanic, it's highly cerebral. And for anybody to entertain hopes that we are going to be at ease, in fact, left to me, frankly speaking, we thank God for the improvement with the advent of this political distanciation. However, having thanked God for the improvement, one single Nigerian life is too precious,
too much to lose,
than for us to be congratulating ourselves on having improved if we have not yet gotten the resolve to really deal with this thing with what it takes.
As far as this improvement is...
Therefore, what you're saying, in other words, is that this December deadline is not going to be met.
What I would suggest is that you should go back and let us take all the tapes. We've been here in channels over the past few years, saying the same things, but not being heard, over and over again. And we can sit down here and tell you where Nigeria will be if we continue like this.
The December deadline.
Can I just...
You're dodging. You don't want to give me a direct answer.
But
that is the subject. Yes, please. I'm coming back to you for that.
We tend to misunderstand this deadline. Militarily, if you told a commander to take every inch of our soil before 31st December, it's possible. But that doesn't end the problem. Thank you. The Chief of Army Staff can close
so
this.
The instruction is regain every inch of Nigerian...
End insurgency is not end terrorism. What is insurgency? It's rebellion against constituted authority. You've gone and put your flags on our soil, you've named some nameless caliphate, you've called it what. Get every inch of that soil back.
Okay.
The chieftain,
that can be done.
The army chief can close 31st December and say, there, mission accomplished.
Good.
Insurgency, we've taken our land back. Has it ended the problem?
No.
Will it stop bombs from exploding elsewhere? No. That's why I said it's not actually kinetic, as he said. It's intellectual.
Okay, so it's a very difficult job to stamp out terrorism. It's not about regaining the soil, the land back. That can be done before December or by December.
Beyond that, what next?
Okay, exactly. That's my question.
Yes.
You've asked it for me.
Yes.
So let me throw that to Anna.
Well, I think this is the reality that we have come to grapple with now, that we are in the throes of terrorism. The best thing, of course, is never to get where we are right now, but we are here, so we got to deal with it. Now, I don't think it is reasonable or, in fact, responsible to say that terrorism cannot be combated. It's not hopeless. The United States, like he has referenced a couple of times, was attacked on 9/11, and until 15th of the Boston finish line bombing of 15th April 2013, there had been no successful attack on U.S. soil. That didn't mean they didn't try. There had been so many bombing plots, so many terrorist plots in the United States from 9/11, but they had been nipped in the bud.
The panty bomber.
Yeah, they well, even including a Nigerian export from here,
yes.
who I thoroughly said no, he wasn't. But anyway, that's another story. So what I'm trying to say is, the people tried and tried and tried. So, you know, again, now you go back to the issue of governance. Again, this is what I keep trying to tell you, let us stop being a politician. It's about governance. It's about managing human resources. It's about leadership. It's not about all this political talk. Hold on, let me finish. Just 1 second.
We have a caller. Just then we can come back to this. Hello, Ralph.
Yes. Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
Alero and Nerta. And good morning, my finest friends in anti-terrorism. I've watched you guys for a while, especially my army friend. I'm sure you remember me. But this morning I just want to come to board because this discussion about anti-terrorism is sounding, or insurgency, whatever you want to put it, it's all about semantics. It's sounding like a broken record. Nigerians are getting tired because the more discussions are going on, the more people are losing their limbs and lives. Sometime last 2 years, if my friend, Army guy, will remember, we spoke over the phone and I was saying about less of intelligence. And I'm glad the issue of intellectualism is coming up. I suggested, then, that was during Jonathan's meeting, how many of the officers have been sent out to go and learn about gathering intelligence? My sisters, every bomb that explodes has what we call signature. The other day I was watching a policeman showing them in public, see the bomb, see the motorcycle is destroyed. Nobody does that in the world. You stop terrorism and insurgency through intelligence. What is keeping Nigeria from having a DNA bank?